Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Ed Fields here along with Erica Shocked Cox. I don't like how that sounds anyway. She's shocked. She's shocked today about how people get their news. Good evening, good afternoon, whatever you want to call it. Ed Fields here along with Kendrick Williams on the soundboard there, and Erica Wells Cox is our guest. Our guest this afternoon is going to be Jeff Lloyd. We'll have lots to talk about, I'm sure. Because, you know, all you have to do with Jeff is just push the switch.
Yep.
And then, boom, we can sit
question
back. We can sit back. So you know, he's passionate about stuff, as we all are. So first of all, we got a lot to talk about, but you're telling me that you are shocked. You heard something yesterday. This is how she said it. Ed, I heard something yesterday that had me shocked. And I get immediately scared. My first reaction is, was it about me? Let's clear that off the table.
Paranoia.
It wasn't about me?
No, it
Okay,
was
good.
not. It had nothing to do with you.
Okay. Well, tell us what it was about. What were you shocked about?
Well, I was at a meeting with a very nice group of people, upstanding members of the community.
Right.
And the question was asked to each individual how we got our news.
How many people were in there?
I would say about 8.
Okay. All right.
I was the only person
Uh-huh.
who said that I read both
Newspaper.
newspapers every day.
Right.
The vast majority of people get their news from WhatsApp,
Mm-hmm.
Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
or
Talk shows?
nobody mentioned talk shows actually.
Okay. All right.
But they said, "Oh, you know, my friends will call me and tell me what's going on," and I was a little bit shocked by that.
Yeah. I'm not shocked.
Okay,
I'm not shocked. I'm dismayed.
I mean,
Okay, I don't know if there's a difference between dismay and shock. I'm dismayed because it's sad, but you know we're in a world now where I'm literally like, you know, you last night, and then we'll talk about this. You talked about watching Donald Trump, right?
Mm-hmm.
I can't handle it. I cannot handle it. I literally went home last night. I knew that he was going to be on. I walked in the room. I saw him on. I immediately left the room and I started watching like America's Got Talent. You know, and I waited until, and I would go in and out to see he was finished, so I could see the post, you know, mortem.
Right.
I don't want to hear the guy, and I don't want to hear ignorance anymore. I'm just tired of it. It's too overwhelming for me.
You know, I get that, but I can't wait to hear it. I can't. Well, when I say I can't wait to hear it, I mean it gets so tainted and twisted by the commentators sometimes. I want to hear it for myself. I want to digest it and go, "Yep, he's crazy."
Yeah, but I know that. So I don't want to hear the craziness when it's happening. I already know he's crazy. What freaks me out is that there are so many. Let me tell you something, man. I feel like I'm in like pre-Nazi Germany.
Well, that is what I thought when I was watching it. I turned to my husband. I said, "You know, this is serious." The crowd was responding in a way that it was frightening.
And again, you see, I don't want to harp on white and black. I hate to do that because that gets emotions up. But I always focus on teams.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? It's on teams. It's on whoever you identify with. Okay?
Okay.
And when you get into your team, okay, then it becomes that mob thing. It's us against them and all that type of thing, okay? And that's why, you know, under Trumpster, is only certain people you see on that team.
Yep. And he's preaching to the choir. And he
Okay.
was in Arizona of all places.
Yeah, you only, you know,
Talking about immigration.
ain't too many cool in the gang out there.
No, not especially not at that rally.
That's what I'm saying, okay? You know, so I get very, very nervous. I get nervous about the implications. But then I'm in another light trying to see if I can control myself by not dealing with things I can't control. Does that make any sense?
It makes sense.
I can't control that situation. The only thing I can control is if I watch it or not. And
Right.
I'm choosing now. I know what he's going to say.
Right.
I know what he's going to say. We got to dump the people. We got to stop the people. We got to move the people. We got to put the people in jail. I know what he's going to say.
But then he always finds a more absurd way to say things. Last night he says, first day in office, day one in office, first hour, 2 million people deported.
Boom. And I like how that sounds, so I go with that. Because I hate them.
Never mind, it's
you just
impossible.
all you're doing is preaching hate and division.
Yeah.
It is Hitlerian. And I follow this one guy, he has your surname on Facebook. And they say, well, we follow the Kool-Aid if we're following Hillary Clinton, etc. No, listen, I can't vote in any event, but what I'm trying to do is not follow hatred.
Right.
And I don't see how people who see, listen, it's one thing to support a candidate of your choice, but you've got to be Guy, by the way, I found your straw. Okay.
Thank you.
I bought some Altonics. I lost the straw in my pocket. Anyway, I can't think what happened. So, no, it's one thing to follow the candidate of your choice, but it's another thing. You have to be responsible for what that candidate represents. Okay? Now, I'm a little bit more comfortable with the fact that I follow a candidate who has a problem with the fact that she had emails in her house.
Right.
Than I am with like someone who is like KKK.
Right.
That's the choice I'm going to make. So if you are a Donald Trump supporter, you've got to take responsibility for some of the things that he is representing, and he's representing a lot of division and hatred.
What does it say about his supporters, or that he has so many supporters, or you have these, members of the GOP who won't renounce him, who might say, oh, I don't like what he says, but I'm still going to support him? Is politics that messed up? I'm just very naive.
Human beings are that messed up. The greatest tragedies of history were promoted by silence.
True.
Okay? The greatest tragedies in history were promoted by silence because of the fear. I could go into my little book again. Because of the fear they would have by stepping outside the team. Oh, you ain't on our team.
Right.
Oh, you're on that team. Because we'll put you on that team. Okay?
And what happens to that team?
Oh, see, so if you were like, you think about slavery, okay? Oh, so you want to be black? No problem. Not a problem. Okay, if you don't mind putting on these shackles, we'll whip your hip.
Right.
Okay? So no one wants to, okay? Or we'll put you in a concentration camp too. Okay? Or we'll put you on a firing squad. So silence is promoted or nurtured by fear.
Right. What do you think about these media houses? Well, the Huffington Post in particular. Have you read an article about Donald Trump on the Huffington Post?
I don't read the Huffington Post. Okay. I don't read. Do you not remember me saying
that?
Right.
Oh, right. Okay. So
Jeez.
At the end of...
I read snippets. I go online.
At the end of every article on Donald Trump, they have a little note that says Donald Trump is a misogynist, racist, so-and-so who spreads hate. They have a little note. It's called an editor's note. Right. What do you think about that? Do you think they're just kind of saying we're not afraid to say it? Do you think that's appropriate, or do you think that's unfair?
First of all, the question is he? That's number one.
Right.
Because if I go, and Erica is short.
Which I'm not really.
Well, you're shorter than me. Okay? All right. But I mean,
a lot of people are shorter.
If I say Erica has short hair.
Yes.
How about that?
Yes.
You accept that?
I can accept that.
If I say Erica has short hair, is that inaccurate? Is that biased? What is it? It's a statement of fact.
Right.
Okay? The question is Donald Trump a misogynist? I think he is.
Based on what he says, yes.
Okay? Is he racist? Maybe that's a little finer line, but he certainly seemingly promotes racism. Mm-hmm. So if one promotes
he tries
racism,
to play up to it.
Right. If one is promoting racism, and so you remember I told you in the last show I said I think we're all racist. I mean, I think we all have prejudice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have our own.
Right.
Yeah.
The question is, do you allow it to manifest in a way that it impacts people? So
or
like,
if you're aware of it enough to keep things in
like,
perspective.
okay, you know what? Donald Trump is a racist. You know why I'm going to say that? He was cited in federal court and had to pay a fine for discriminating against blacks in his housing.
Yes.
That's racism.
Yep, that
so
is.
that's fact number 2.
Right.
What was the other one? Misogynist,
he was
racist.
misogynist, racist. He
Certainly xenophobic. He
right.
promotes
They
that.
talked about, they just say, who is advocating for the ban of an entire community based on their religion.
Yeah.
So yes, all of these things are true.
Yeah.
Based on what he says, right? But it's interesting that the Huffington Post has taken that step, whereas, would you call Huffington Post mainstream media?
No.
No? Okay. Well, the mainstream media
Yeah.
is careful,
Well,
is a lot more careful.
the other people will call it mainstream because it's liberal.
Yes.
That's how they do it. It's a screwed up thing.
Yeah.
We got to take a break. We'll be right back. We'll talk about some local stuff. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Ed Fields here along with Erica Wells Cox and Kendrick Williams. Rogan is off until next week, so we'll see her then. If she ever returns, we don't know. Yeah, so we were talking about the Trumpster, and people say, well, why are you talking about that? Well, it's global. It's a global concern. And it also leads into, and we're going to have Jeff Lloyd later on, about, there are a couple of themes, Erica, that I can't seem to get away from. And one of those themes is, and you referred to the Huffington Post and media, is media. It's just now, and I have a lot of friends in media, and they occupy a whole range of, positions in media, okay, or roles in media. Some are on the salacious thing, some are in the serious thing, some are in the, whatever. It's a range. But they require, most of them require a degree of, I even want to say I don't want to say inaccuracy, but just excitement that does not lend to fact. It's opinion not based on fact, okay? And it's to, get people all riled up.
Right.
I don't think anyone's getting riled up on this show.
No.
I mean, I think when people are listening, if they choose to listen, all 15 of them, okay, I don't think anyone's getting riled up. Now, they may feel motivated, hopefully, to maybe try, I'm hoping, to do something about a problem, but they're not getting all enraged
Right.
and
Right.
and if they are, I hope they're getting enraged for the right reason,
Right.
as opposed to, just what's floating out there. And I saw something the other day where, and I'm not going to say what it was because I don't want to, but there was a movement in it. Well, I'll say it. We had, as you know, we have a problem with crime. And of course, our definition of crime is murder. That's how we define crime here, murder. And the numbers have gone down.
Yes.
Okay? But that's a problem.
Why is that a problem?
I've seen, so for years, we've been going, we need to see a decrease.
Yes.
Then when the decrease happens, there's a way to find out criticizing why it shouldn't have, well, it's supposed to decline. It's like you're never going to give anyone a break.
Right.
No one ever gets a break. It's constant negativity.
I was surprised that I didn't see more about there being 44 days of no murders, given that we had a 150 plus count last year.
Right.
Right. I was surprised.
Right.
And I do read the newspapers.
Well, I caught a lot of flack because when I put that out there, and they shouldn't have responded, and these are my good friends, some people responded, some people in the media responded. I wasn't pointing at any particular person, but they responded, which always says, when you respond, that's because it might be hitting you, right?
Well, what was the response? I mean, did they have a reasonable...
Well, it was essentially, it's not a... It was all just... trying to justify why they didn't do it.
Right.
I'm not going to get into
Right. I do think that in media you're thinking, well, my role is not to cheerlead, if I could use that
No, of course
expression.
not.
But that's not about cheerleading.
No.
That's, in my
Reporting.
opinion, that's just reporting.
Right.
That's a story. in my opinion.
Here's the deal. If you report, tell me if this is cheerleading. Let's get off of murder. If you report every September or August or whenever they come out that the national grade average is a D, if it gets to B, shouldn't you report it?
Yeah.
Would that be cheerleading? Or is that reporting?
That's reporting a movement.
Right.
That's reporting a trend.
But it's as if they've selected a team, a side, and by indicating success, oh no, that's giving the other side, or the side they didn't choose, props. That's the feeling I get.
Right. Yeah, I could see where people would get that feeling, although I don't think there's anything intentional about it.
Well, you have to be conscious of what you're doing.
I mean,
you know.
You worked in a newsroom. I've worked in a newsroom. You know that pressure to, you got to find a good story, right? And not to say that a good story has to be a negative story, but it has to have a level of unusualness to it. It has to be.
Let me
news.
tell you something. I think that there is a trait that I don't have, and I'll tell you why I believe that. You won't remember this, but the Prince of Monaco, Albert. You're too young to remember all of this stuff. His wife, Caroline, got killed in a car accident way back in 1982 or something. Princess Grace. Grace, not Caroline. Grace.
Yeah, but
Princess
she was
Grace.
the actress.
The actress who got married. It was all romantic and all that.
Right.
She was killed in a car accident. I was the UPI. No one knows what that is. It's like AP, but it's UPI.
Yeah.
I was a UPI stringer, and they told me that Prince Albert was coming to the Bahamas to get away. Okay, and they wanted me to get some pictures. Okay, so I got in my car, my Volkswagen Gol, and I waited at the airport till he came out, and I followed him to Lyford Key, and when they opened the gate, I barged through the gate.
You did?
I barged through the gate to get this picture, okay? And they chased me, the security and everything chased me around. It was like, okay? And then, I didn't even get the picture, but the thing is, as I left the gate, I thought to myself, how sick is that? This guy's wife just died. He's come here to get some respite, and I'm chasing him around to get a picture. I'm never doing that again.
Right.
That's what I thought.
Right.
That's not how a lot of people think.
I mean, that's a level of journalism that makes a lot of people uncomfortable.
Yeah, I am not doing that. Okay?
Yeah.
So my thing is, I would write stories.
Yeah.
I would interview, I'll never forget, I interviewed Celinda Pinley and other people, and I wrote the story, and I sent it to them to read before I published it. Because I wasn't interested in publishing anything that I'm going to have to correct.
Right.
Why would I do that? Now, you can't change something that you said.
Right.
But
It's just, did I get everything? Is it factual?
Yeah, if you said that, I'm putting it down.
Did I misunderstand something?
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. Now, a lot of people would decry me for that. They're uncomfortable with that. I don't care if they do.
Right.
That's not my problem.
Because I think it opens you up to that happening. I mean, you're lucky that didn't happen, right?
I wrote down what he said, and if it was misinterpreted, like if I said, you said that we should kill 13 people. If you said, no, 13 people shouldn't be killed, then you can correct it, and if it's, because I got the tape.
Right.
Now, I didn't tell you to omit anything. And to be honest with you, if you felt like you wanted to pull back on something, my job wasn't here to get you. My job was to get a story, and you know what? No one ever, there was no corrections. I can show you, the dot matrix?
Yes.
I can show you the printout. I was just talking to Obi Pinling about this. I can show you the dot matrix printout that I sent to Celinda, and I don't think there were any corrections. I still have that in my files. So, I just think there's a responsibility because our job is not to see. I think we've gotten in this thing as our job is to catch people. No, our job is to information.
Right. Yes, most definitely.
But I don't think that's what's being viewed now.
Yeah.
It's digging for could it get you?
Yeah.
And I don't know. I'm a little concerned about that. So now we got the China deal, the China Bahar Mar deal, secrecy. So, I have sources.
Right, okay. Well, so what I want to know, Ed, is it reasonable that it's not unusual for these sorts of things to be sealed?
So there are a couple of things. And I really could care, I am, I am at the point now where I could care less about what people say. Okay?
That's a good place to be.
Oh, yeah, I could care less. There are, see, the first thing you have to realize is that anyone wearing any color shirt, I don't care what they are, their objective is not my objective. Their objective is to win the election.
Okay.
So anything they could grab onto, they're going to grab onto. If I say tomorrow the parachute is coming down,
right.
Okay? The question you do have to ask is, why is it being sealed? And who requested it being sealed?
Right.
So did the government request it to be sealed, or did the bank request it to be sealed? Now, the government is saying, and I don't know if it's accurate or not, that the bank requested to be sealed.
Right.
I can understand why the bank requested to be sealed. And by the way, I'm going to comment for the first time on this whole Bahamar thing, okay? If you buy a house and you make $100,000 a year, and you go and you build a $10 million house, and for some reason you can't build a house, guess what's going to happen?
They're going to take the house.
And it don't make a difference if it's a house or a hotel.
Right. The principle is still there.
If you build a hotel and you can't pay the debt, the bank could take the hotel. But give me the but.
But this is a little bit more complicated.
Tell me why it's complicated. You're saying it, but tell me why.
No, I just mean from the perspective of why I don't have the money to build the house or to finish the house.
Well, suppose, all right, let me uncomplicate it for you. Suppose you decide you're going to build a house, and the house that you're going to build, and again, I don't know the facts, I'm just surmising.
Right.
Suppose you're going to build a house, and the house you think you're going to build is going to cost $8 million, and you plan for that. But while you build a house, you decide, you know what? You want a pool on the roof. So that's another $500,000. And you decide you want to put 3 kitchens in. And it goes up. And you decide, you know what, I want to do like a whole parking garage on the side of my house. So you make changes, right? Mm-hmm. You make changes. Is that your phone or my phone or someone's phone? Anyway, it's a phone. It's Erica's phone probably. But anyway, don't worry about it. So you make these changes. Mm-hmm. And as a result, the cost goes up. There are cost overruns, et cetera, et cetera.
Sure.
So what you thought you could do, you can't do.
Right.
So now you aren't making your regular payments.
Right.
What happens to your house?
But what if?
Yeah, give me a what if.
The contractor that I hired to build the house was not doing a good enough job that added to these cost overruns.
Right.
Don't I have the right to say, I don't want you to do this project anymore?
No, well, see, so first of all, you do have a right to do that, but it's got to be yours or something somewhere. Under the newspaper, no? No, you put it in the bank. We can just hear it.
Anyway,
it's a thing.
Okay.
The deal, and I don't have no phone on my bungie.
Yeah, no. It's,
okay.
It's
Anyway, so Kendrick will solve it. He's technical. Here's the deal. You entered in. First of all, the problem is the way that the deal may have been structured in the first place.
Sure.
Any job that is of that magnitude has something that I've not seen in this job. I don't know why it didn't happen, but whatever it is, it didn't happen. And it's called a performance bond.
Okay.
Okay? And this job doesn't seem to ever talk to the fact that there was no performance bond. A performance bond is like what the company had who built the roads. Remember the first company that went bankrupt? When they built Harold Road?
The Argentinian company.
No,
right?
no, before that. It was an English company.
Oh.
It was an English company. I forget the name of the company, but they went bankrupt.
Okay.
The government did not have to pay a single dime more because they were able to claim on the performance bond to remobilize to get another contractor in. Where's the performance bond?
And I guess the difficulty is when you don't know the details.
Or if you don't know about performance bonds. So the question I ask is, why didn't you get a performance bond? Now, chances are maybe the deal you struck because you were desperate. You see, you have to go back. This deal was financed because in a desperate scenario. The only people who had the money to finance this was the Chinese.
Right.
And they put down conditions. You're going to use our bank. You're going to use our export company. You're going to use our construction company. These are the conditions. Mm-hmm. And chances are, we're not giving you we don't want a performance bond. You want that deal? Yes, I'm signing.
Okay.
Okay, so there's all kinds of complications, right?
Yes.
But the reality is, for whatever reason, you didn't meet your obligations. So we ended up with this bankruptcy and all that sort of thing. And then there's a whole lot of reasoning behind why government intervened in that. And I'm not picking sides here.
Right.
I don't want to get into that. But going back to this thing about the sealing of the deal, I think what is the case is this. This deal is sealed not because of concessions. The deal is sealed because the people who are structuring the sale, and trust me, I think there's a sale already underway because no one goes and spends hundreds of millions of dollars without having someone lined up, right?
To complete.
But they don't want anyone to interfere in getting the deal closed.
Right.
And if the deal is open, I can figure out all the maneuvering ways to get in to stop the deal. Now I can't.
Right.
I can't figure it out because I don't know the deal.
Right. So what would be wrong with them just saying that?
Well, maybe they don't want to say it.
But I mean,
I don't know. What they said is, but let me put it here this way. If the bank and let's say the bank, it's their money.
Right, it is
If
their
they
money.
made a request of the court to seal the deal, that's what they're telling you. We the bank made a deal to seal the deal. We don't. And they said for commercial reasons.
Right. Now,
They said for commercial reasons. You can't figure out what that's about?
I think all of this confusion and animosity and whatever that's resulted from this could be avoided if there's just simple communication.
No, but you see, that's because you're assuming, and again, I'm not picking a side. So first of all, look, who needs to be made whole here?
Right.
Let's deal with that, right?
Right.
Who needs to be made whole are employees, people who are owed money, the government of Bahamas' reputation in terms of this deal coming to fruition. Those are the things that need to be made whole.
Right.
Okay? Who else needs to be made whole? The news media? The FNM, the BDP, the FNM, the DDR, who else to be made whole?
But
No,
but
I'm just asking.
no, but it's not. You're creating problems if there's this perception.
But suppose you're creating problems by not by doing the other thing.
Well, then say that.
Well, they said see, we don't want to hear that. They said we cannot open the deal because of commercial reasons. Now, what do you want to ask me now?
No, they said it eventually.
No, they said it on day one. I saw it. I saw it on day one.
At the national address, he said it.
I don't know about the national address, but I know that several people.
See, and I'm not blaming Christie. I'm not taking sides, right? Although I have opinions about certain things. At the national address, Christie said there will be more details about the agreement in the days to come.
Well,
Right?
okay.
And then the next day, it was reported that the deal was sealed. So immediately people become suspicious.
Well, we got to take a break. Okay, we'll come right back. Yeah, so we're going to divert just for a second. Want to talk about just for a second, and anyone who responds, it means it's you. And this is about people who are incessantly posting. I post, but I'm talking about incessantly. You got a little problem. Anyway, having said that, well, going back to this deal, I am not. What this highlights to me, Erica, is not the deal itself. People, they want to know, and it's a valid desire. But there are. Let me give you an example. The Bahamas doesn't have an income tax. Most companies in this country are privately owned businesses. You don't have a right to see their books. You don't.
Correct.
Okay, it's a private transaction, and you don't have the right to see it. If I ask you for your bank account, will you tell me that's none of my business? This is a transaction between a bank and a construction company and a potential buyer, and guess what? It's really none of your business insofar as unless the government's concessions offered are extraordinary, above and beyond, say, what the Hotel Encouragement Act offers.
Right.
And you know what the Hotel Encouragement Act offers, duty-free on building supplies.
Building supplies. But you do think that it should be made public when it's an appropriate time.
Exactly.
Right.
When and here's what I'm saying to those people out there who are listening and going, the bottom line is, The ultimate goal, and here I am. I'm the competition. The bottom line is that we, the Bahamian people, want for this project to get off the ground. The fact that it hasn't gotten off the ground has been a detriment to our economy. It has been a detriment to people who have been employed. It has been a detriment to creditors who are owed money. It has been a detriment to our reputation as a country and downgrades and all this sort of thing. So suppose, for the sake of argument, in order for this thing to come to fruition, there needs to be forget about the government concessions between the parties. The transactions between the parties have to be kept quiet or secret.
Right.
Well, then, wouldn't we want that to happen to get to fruition, or do we want complications that will delay its opening?
Right. I don't think anybody wants to see this get any more complicated than it already has, right?
Well, there are some people who do, because there's in some people's interest to delay or to obstruct.
Right.
It's in their interest to do so.
Right.
And
which is wrong.
Well, no, it may be in their interest.
Right. But, well, anyway.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't think that's in the best interest of the country at this point.
No, but people look at their own interests, especially with $1 billion, you know?
Right. No, yeah, for sure. But the point I was trying to make was there's already this level of distrust around this project because maybe the Prime Minister may have misspoke initially a few times, so people are a little hesitant.
And see, that's the problem, and I say this very openly. I can tell you that I know that there was great criticism of the Prime Minister from internal sources, because I have my little moves, right? Mm-hmm. That there were times when the Prime Minister spoke out of turn,
right,
which actually hampered
right
the process going forward. Mm-hmm. And so maybe he's determined, now I'm not going to do that anymore. And this is where it is. But you know what? Listen, in this world of ours, here's the deal. You and I can banter over it, but there's this group of people called politics, okay? And nothing is ever going to be, this is where we are. Nothing is ever going to be good on the other side.
True.
Never. If you unseal it, you still ain't believe to unseal.
Right.
It's not in their interest to ever let it die.
But,
okay? Period. That's just the way it is.
Right. It is just the way it is, but it's so unfortunate because we can't ever seem to make any headway if that's the way that things continue to be.
We live in a world of polarization, of tribalism, okay? And why we can't be the way we are is because there are people who are aligned in a manner that does not allow them to be open to anything else. It's as simple as that. We can't get past that, okay? The fact that a plus for you is a minus for me. A minus for you is a plus for me. That's how we look at it, okay? How many times have you seen in the last 20 years, because I don't want to pick on any particular party, where someone from an opposing party stood up and go, oh, you know what? Damn good idea.
Yeah, never.
Damn good idea.
And it's not going to happen.
This is where we are. And so my mode is to move away from this whole thing. And that's why, we discuss over and over again about, forget about them. You got to find a way. We got, like I said, Jeff Lloyd coming on in a bit. I hope he can make it. He's got his show to go on, so he'll be here soon. If not, we'll get a rope and pull him over here. This thing about doing things at the community level. Mm-hmm. We live in this monarchy where it's, the king versus the wannabe king, and the troubadours that follow both of these
right
people,
these leaders.
And I don't even, it's positions. It's not even the people now anymore. Mm-hmm. Who occupy them, and so we can't see clear. And I'm going to say this very simply. They appeal to the basest emotions of people. Mm-hmm. This is what's happening with Donald Trump. Mm-hmm. That's why we talked about it earlier. He is not interested in... Donald Trump has a jet, man.
Yeah.
Okay? He's not interested in the guy...
because the sad thing is, at the end of the day, if he loses, which we hope he does...
He's got a jet.
He'll still have his jet, but he will probably make even more money.
More money.
Because now,
he's in a no-lose situation.
Exactly.
No-lose situation. Worst case scenario for him right now, and this is worst case scenario, is that he got to go somewhere that he don't pay rent. That's the White House. That's actually a worst case scenario for him.
Yeah.
the best case scenario
He
for him to
can't
lose.
make as much money.
Right, it's for him to lose and then just explode. So we have to find a way to. I don't know. I Jeff, like I said, is coming on in a bit, and hopefully he has some ambitions which I'm going to try to dig out of him and see what he says. But he has some passion about where we are. I'm just in a place where I think we have a 20. I'll give you an example, and I think I don't know if I said it on the air. I just came from New York City, where I was on the George Washington Bridge, and it took an hour and a half to move 5 miles. And it was so bad, and I was on there so long, my shoulder actually locked up because of how my hand was positioned. And I couldn't the next day raise my arm above my, up past my shoulder. And I said to myself, you know what? I'm never going to complain about traffic in Nassau again. Not once. I'm not going to complain.
Right.
People have to deal with this You ever watch TV in the morning, I-95, when you watch the news report?
Yep.
What's that about?
It looks like a nightmare. You talk about stressed watching TV.
What the heck is that about? Okay, and we get stuck between, if you live out west, between like Marcus Bethel Way,
right,
and Dunkin' Donuts. Okay,
and there's road rage,
and we're freaked out. And all I do is turn up Dean's Lane and come down. It's not a big deal. Right. So okay, but we get freaked out, and so what we're doing is I think we're feeding, and I want to talk to Jeff about this. We're feeding off of negativity. We're compounding negativity in a manner that we are in a kind of a bubble of negativity that we can't seem to overcome. And I think we have to, the fact that the murders go down, okay, and yet we can't see any hope in that, as opposed to finding some real negative stuff to comment on about that.
Right.
Then that's a level of despair I don't want to be engaged in anymore. So anyway, that's my little spiel on that. What else you got going on? What else is your fears and woes of life?
I remember something that you said a few months back.
You're actually recalling things that I've said?
Yes, of course.
Oh, okay.
I
guess his party is orange.
I remember. And my bag is orange.
No. So what were you saying now?
No, I remember you said you had Dr. Nicolette Bethel on.
Yeah.
And she made a comment that surprised you, and it
Right.
surprised me when I heard it. That
Right.
what she thought was we needed actually more government.
More government.
Which makes me think about the community leader.
Renard?
Well,
Well,
not
you
anyone
mean
in
the community
particular.
level? Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
How if maybe there was more local government, more local opportunities, community leaders could find something to latch onto, because as it is now, if you want to be a community leader, so to speak, that's a tough ball to get rolling. It's a tough ball to get rolling on your own.
Well, like I say, and I only make reference to it because of the efforts of people like our guests and others. One of the things that I really, really was motivated to start We the People for was to try to inspire people. I didn't want to be the leader of anything. I was trying to inspire people to take control of their own plight, so to speak, right? So that if you live in a community and you see, and every time I say it, I think it sounds so trivial, but I mean this, that if you live on a road and out of 20 homes, 9 or 10 every day their garbage can is thrown over by dogs, then get together as a group. Come up with, I've got a formula. Get some pallets, those wooden pallets? And on a Saturday, construct an enclosure for those 9 homes with a nice little fence with pallets, so you don't have to deal with the fact that garbage is strewn in your neighborhood every day. I mean, that's like about a 4 or 5 hour deal. Yep. And it makes you feel good. You've gotten together with your neighbors. You've cleaned up your neighborhood. The government isn't going to do that.
But community, the whole idea of community doesn't seem to exist the same way it used to before.
Well, we are bigger, and we have become more and more reliant on the gods, on the king.
Right.
Okay? There is a line to go to court and I'm not talking about the judicial court, I'm talking about at court the office of the prime minister or a ministerial building to get things.
Right.
Okay, to get things, and that's got to stop. If we're gonna change things, we've got to come together as communities. That's why I'm so proud of the fact that people like Renard Henfield. Were you here when he came on?
No.
From
no.
R. Carmichael.
But
You've
I've
heard of it?
of the organization, yes.
Of course, Jeff Lloyd has got his organization that we're going to talk about going on, because these are things that impact people directly. Okay, your garbage in your street is 5,869th on the list of things that the Ministry of Works cares about. But it is first on your list.
Right.
So if it's first on your list, then your community should make that a priority to solve. And you can solve it without government intervention. And bit by bit, as you do that, you start to think, you know what, we can take care of ourselves. Now let's start lobbying for how we get tax dollars funneled to us.
Right.
So that we can become an institutionalized form of local government. And that's what we want to see. Anyway, we're going to take a break. We will be right back with our special guest this afternoon, who I know will have a lot to say. He comes in calm. He starts off with this calm demeanor, and then before you know it, he's all excited. See, he's calm. You notice he's calm over there now.
Calm.
All right, we'll be right back with Jeff Lloyd. Is it legitimate? Legitimate expectations?
Legitimate
Expectations. Jeff Lloyd, welcome. How you doing, sir?
Very good, thanks.
Always a pleasure to have you in my domain.
Amen.
You know, it's always a pleasure. And by the way, I don't know if I saw you since the referendum, but I enjoyed doing that. It was a pleasurable
You
evening.
got a lot of rave reviews only because of you.
Yeah, of course. I'm going to take that, because it's so much BS. I'm just going to say yes, and that's exactly it. Thank you very much. Yeah. No, but it was fun. It was
You
fun.
attracted attention because, in some respects, some of your comments were controversial, and that's what keeps people attentive.
Yeah.
I'm old, like you might want to say stodgy. I mean, I'm just a kind of play-by-play announcer. Hey, you have had fails here.
I was not controversial.
Well, some people thought.
Well,
so.
yeah, but I mean, you can't help it. You go in the public domain. Whatever, there's going to be X amount of people who think whatever you say, no matter how rational it is, it's off the edge, right? So there you go. So listen, man, BP3.
BP3, Bahamians for Peace, Prosperity, and Progress.
Yeah, we tried to get you on right after the launch, but you had issues. You had to travel around the Bahamas.
Well, I don't like the word issues because that sounds like
You got problems.
Yeah.
You had commitments.
You had commitments. Yeah. But so what I'd like you to do is just tell me, if you can, in a nutshell, what that's about and how that's going.
Well, it actually is a response to the community. People have been asking me personally and a number of us who I'm affiliated with to help in various ways to support various things. Mm-hmm. In particular, Valentino Brown, normally known as Scrooge, who works at...
we all have to have a nickname, eh?
Yeah. Then you had, Ms. Johnson up in Sutton Street and a number of other people.
Yeah.
And of course, at times, these things can be taxing. So I thought, listen, it's best maybe. And what I did was to go to the community and say, listen, could you help me with X or Y? Well, most times, the community wants some means by which they, it can be accountable. Mm-hmm. So I thought, let's form an organization, Bahamians for Peace, Prosperity, and Progress, so that people who wish to donate, can have a source of donation to whom they donate. And it ain't to Jeffrey Lloyd. Mm-hmm. It is to this Bahamian Peace, Prosperity. It has a board. The chairman is Julian Smith. Mm-hmm. They make the decisions. Money comes in. They decide who, and they have a plethora of requests, people for scholarships, folks to fix homes, all kind of things, man.
Well, I'm sure when you did, you realized how much need is out there.
A lot of the need, there's a great, great need, but I think it's also a lot of wants.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, man. So somebody sent, for instance, just recently $4,000 to sponsor a basketball tournament.
Yeah.
I mean, $4,000 for a basketball tournament.
You're just a source
not
of...
to suggest by any means that basketball tournament,
but that's not a need.
A way of bringing community together, Not saying that at all, okay? But $800 to sport a basketball tournament, $4,000.
Yeah.
And you could go into
that's
those
a basketball league.
Yeah, you could go into those same communities and to put in a floor.
Yeah.
For somebody with a 2-room house, a shack essentially is like $600, or to fix a portion of the roof is like $900.
Or to reinstate the water
Over
piping
that
and plumbing.
$4,000, you could take care of 5 or 6 homes in which there are families and so on and so forth, in bad ways. I mean, in serious things. You got again Miss Johnson up in Elijah Ministries, who is doing a phenomenal work and helping some indigent people up in that community, old folks, giving them a bath 3-4 times a week and giving them changing them and so on. We buy the pans for them and the stuff for the bed and all that stuff on a regular basis. She also feeds. She gets food from the Hands for Hunger, and I really appreciate that woman. And we try to support her. That's a need. That's an absolute need.
Yeah.
There are women who help her, 8 or 9 women. I am ashamed to say that there's not a single Bahamian woman who comes and stays in that helping environment. But they go and they wash up these old people and they clean up the house and they change the bedding and go to the wash house and wash the bedding and take the food to them twice a day. I mean, it's just
amazing.
a tremendous amount of work in that community, Reverend Johnson. So that's need. You could sink, $1,000-$2,000 into that because those depends are going to last for 4 weeks.
Right.
8 or 10 persons whose depends got to change on a daily basis, so on and so forth. Right. So that's what BP3 is doing, and it's people keep saying or thinking or feeling, oh man, this can be a political organization.
Right.
Jeff is launching now his political organization.
Yeah.
And
Your platform.
No,
But how is, before we get, because I'm going to get into that, but how is BP? How's it going? Is it flourishing? Is it expanding?
We have the folks out. We just did a financial seminar for the people in the Baintown community by the community center at Clinton Square and Lewis Street. We put on the roof for that particular square. It cost us $15,000. And that's there to help the community. So you got a space there that's 25 by 25 as an example. Folks could do their homework in the evening and so on. We just had a financial seminar. We named it wrong. What we should say is, you want to make more money? You want, learn how to get a job? So on. We had 35 people show up. 35 people show up, learn how to balance their book, how to write a resume, how to do an interview. Show them, listen, you come here dragging slippers, you this and that. Man, hey, it's okay for our seminar, but please understand that when you present to a job, people are looking at how you present.
Exactly.
So that was a nice half-day seminar. They can't wait for the next one, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
So we do that, But like you say, my friend, when you open that door saying help is available, boy.
Build it and they will come.
Man, there's help. It's unbelievable.
Do you just focus on particular communities, or it's
we
island-wide?
Camp Road and Baintown right now. I mean, the funds for it obviously are limited, actually. And the need in those communities are so great.
Right.
Yeah.
They're so great, but I think it's only fair that you spread it out just a little bit. So, I mean, if you got $8,000 or $10,000, it isn't just concentrated in Bain and Grantstown and Camp Road. There's Fox Hill, there's the Southwest Corridor that also need help. And then, of course, we have gotten a number of requests from the Family Islands, Crooked Island, Long Island, in storm-damaged homes who are not yet repaired.
Yeah.
You
kind of tie into something we were talking about earlier. One of the things I think our listeners, most of them who are driving, are hearing from us on a regular basis is this issue of community involvement and engagement. You do like a BP3, there's our Carmichael, there's, We the People, there's a lot of these organizations, and what you come to find out is that, or at least what I came to find out, and I don't want this to sound negative, but that there are very few people willing to engage in it. They are you having that problem?
Oh man, for God's sakes, folks. Let me tell you something, Ed. This is a beautiful country and I love my people. But our people have got a sense of someone must come and do it for us. Sense of entitlement.
Right. I'll just sit on the wall while you clean up. I'll watch you.
Yeah. And it is a lethargy. But it also is an arrogance. I mean, you got to look at it as a passive arrogance because really basically what you're saying is you're supposed to do this, man. And our politicians have taught them that. The UBP did, the PLP did. Now, of course, it continues. Hey, listen, the Catholic Church came and gave our people that same sense that you don't have to do, we'll do for you, the nuns, the priests, and so on. No, it cannot work. One of the things of the preamble of the Constitution is industry. Industry means self-initiative. Mm-hmm. We are a people of industry. We are a people who will get up and go and do it and make it happen. And I think in large part because the larger portion of our population, certainly in New Providence, have grown up in an environment of prosperity and abundance and so on. They don't know how to make a living. Listen, I grew up in Long Island, man. Before I went to school.
You from Long Island?
Yeah. Before I went to school, Ed, I had to go in the bush. I had to release whatever
In the bush,
sheep, goat, out of whatever pasture they were in so they could go through the land and feed themselves. I had to bring wood. I had to go and bring water and then wash off.
Sound like Craig Smith now.
Then wash off. Go to school, come back for lunch, go back to school. After school, go meet your grandma and your auntie them in the field. In other words, you had to make a living. There was nothing handed to you. You had your little field around the yard in your home. You had your field up in Camel and Ridley and those places where you grew your major stuff. You had to make a living.
It was about every day was a mission for food.
You had to go make a living. You go to the cistern and you wash your clothes. You had to go and go fishing and build your own raft and go fishing and so forth.
Sustenance.
Yes. But here in this country, on this island in particular, and all of us had fall. I got my children, many people would think, spoil is the daylight, man. They can't weed 1 yard for it to save their life, man. Wash car and all that kind of stuff. They have no sense of things like that.
Wash car?
Yeah. Jokes.
The fun about it is that they got car to wash. Yeah. No, shoot marble and all that. That's in the date and stuff. Listen, You say an arrogance. It's interesting you say that because arrogance always seems to me something that is sort of, self-induced, okay, as opposed to the patronage and the entitlement that has been foisted on us for personal reasons, i.e., I want to be the leader of this particular constituency, etc. So I do these things for you just so you could pay me back with a vote. So does that equate to arrogance, or have we been just...
Over time it is, because you develop
That's the expectation.
Yeah, you develop it. There's a rank paternalism in the country.
Uh-huh.
The expectation that somebody else can do it for you. Somebody else is going to come in and clean up the neighborhood. Somebody is going to come in and take care of you at election time. Someone's going to come and get a job for you, and so on. And the arrogance comes in it really because you are, after a while, believe you them kind of things beneath you. Mm-hmm. If I ask some of my grandchildren, listen, you have to wash the car. They'll do it because I, basically exist. But you could see them, a stiffening of the back, like, what?
You want to say something, just
and you got a car washed down the road, Grandpa?
I wanted to ask Ed and Mr. Lloyd.
Yeah. See, you're Mr. Lloyd. I'm Ed. But that's okay.
Well,
I don't feel disrespected.
You got less.
And I bring in a malt tonic.
Mr. Fields.
No. I don't like Mr. Fields.
Yeah. No, you both spoke of this lack of engagement. Mm-hmm. For people who are interested in becoming engaged in organizations like this or in community events that will help communities in need, many of them don't want to do it through, let's say, a constituency office, which may or may not be doing things. They don't want to be affiliated with a party.
Yeah, but I'm not even talking about that.
Right, but what I'm saying is that maybe a part of the reason why there's not as much engagement is because people are unaware of what they can become engaged in.
But you see, I buy that as a sellout, right? Because if you come home every day, and this is the little, Jeff and I spoke about this when we started this thing way back. If you come home every single day, and on your corner, the street sign is bent over, you don't need to go through any constituency office. You get you and your neighbor, and you fix the sign.
No. But I think you're missing what I'm asking. What if I am what if Erica wanted to become involved in an organization like Mr. Lloyd's organization,
Right.
or a We the People,
Right.
right?
Right.
How does that happen for people who are listening, who want to be involved, who may not know? Oh, I didn't realize there were these
Bahamas.com.
opportunities,
Yeah.
right?
We listen. We may. I mean, so you're asking you're being a very good reporter. You're asking a very basic interviewing questions. And so I took it more than that. I apologize. Look, we had a website. Okay. We still have a website. I'm sure Jeff has a website. We had a way for you to join. Okay. To join the organization. We had a whole list of things you could get engaged in. It is a sad thing when you look at all the organizations in this country, whether they be the Red Cross, whether they be BP3, whether they be whatever, the cancer, whatever, and it's the same 8 people working it. Okay? Sometimes there are people in multiple organizations.
Of course.
You got a guy like Felix Stubbs. I don't know, you know, someone must have like a charity gene in his body, okay? Because he's engaged in everything, right? But I'm saying we don't see we are more. You know what we engaged in? 65-inch Samsung. That's what we engage in. We see. That's the thing, Jeff Lloyd. We are engaged. We're just engaged with ourselves. We're not engaged in a community. We engage, man. We could find anything we want, man.
Yeah, well, of course,
But we don't want to deal with other things outside ourselves.
Yeah, we got be comfortable, man. We fat, comfortable, and happy.
Well, I mean, I would argue that we're not as fat and happy as we used to be.
Well,
that
And-
is true.
Right.
And that's because we're not
more and
engaged.
more, yeah,
It's a
and
vicious cycle.
More and more people will, because of that, become engaged. I spoke today, for instance, to T.A. Thompson Junior High. I spoke also to the Rotary Club of West Nassau. I say, listen, you guys are sitting back and looking for some kind of martyr to go out there and expose themselves to rescue you.
Yeah.
No problem. But what are you doing? What is your skin in the game? All right? The teachers complain about a host of problems. I hear you. What are you doing to assist yourself?
Yeah.
What are you doing? You've got an advocate, the union, but you've got an administration. You've got a superintendent of this area. You've got a director, deputy director, assistant director. You got a deputy permanent secretary. You got a minister. What are you doing? You can formulate a committee. You can put up a petitioning program. You can do a host of things to help to correct some of the maladies that you are facing, which are threats to your safety. I mean, Jeffrey Lloyd is over on the next side of the island. What are you doing? Yeah, you want Jeff Lloyd to go start one political party. Good. I got a bank account. How much are you putting in the bank account? Oh, just a moment.
Yeah, you just go and we'll
Just
take care of you.
launch, Jeff, and then we'll come. No. That don't work like that. No. Let me show you a good faith commitment that I am here to support you. Here's my $5.
Yeah.
Bernie Sanders' campaign. Here's my $27. No, that's the commitment that the Bahamian people want. I ain't got to come and ask you. Come to church every blessed Sunday. You know the bathrooms need to be clean. There's an usher that needs to be supported, in the usher environment that needs to be supported. Ain't nobody got to ask you to join. This church is available to you, is open to you. Come on, man. Come on. And ain't nobody saying you got to give your life to this, man.
But Jeff,
come on, 1 month.
But if the TV break down, they know how to get to Miami.
Yeah.
Get the 70-inch and get it back. But and that's fine. We're not. I'm not decrying that. But there's got to be some way of being outside yourself. You go to church. I see it around this town. You see, we're going to take a break. We'll be back. But I drive around this town, and you see people living right next to something that can be corrected, and they will not. They will just. You know what their action is? A complaint. Right. That's their action. Just to complain. See, I'm engaged. I'm complaining. We'll be right back. Oh, boy. Clarity sometimes fogs the mind. Write that down. Write that down, Jeff Lloyd. That's your daughter in there.
Yeah.
Can you write that down, please, Jeff Lloyd? Clarity sometimes fogs the mind.
I bring no pen.
Yeah, No, you know what I mean by that, right? You can be so clear on things that you're in a state of confusion on how it is allowed to exist. This is how I feel about what exists in this country. I am convinced in my mind, Jeff Lloyd, that we are in a state of stagnation because our system has devolved into a kind of, what's the word, rigor mortis. I'm using some big words now. I'm sounding like Jeff Lloyd. I'm having inclination.
Okay. Philosophers.
Yeah. Okay. We've actually devolved into a sort of rigor mortis, Jeff, where we are cast in stone, and can't seem to break out of the system that is essentially shackling us into our continual demise. Does that make any sense?
Of course, there's been a paralysis in the country for a long time. I mean, like you say, it's basically the system, but it's also, again, as I said to Erica, it's a prosperity. We are fat. We are happy, man. We are comfortable. We be okay.
We go to fish fry?
Yeah, we okay. You look here. Yes, sir. I don't know if you've done this. I did this, okay? Go down to customs after any one of these weeks during the summer holiday and see how many people come from Miami loaded.
Oh.
Okay. So, we ain't suffering. All right? Things are doing okay for a lot of people. They're hustling their way through. The pain is not great enough that is creating for them an urgency to act. And so they mosey along, expecting. Now, I'll give an example. The elections are coming. The Progressive Liberal Party, I'm sure, will be well resourced by whomever their backers are. They know the game. They will go in this community.
Yeah.
And whatever they need to do, they're going to do. You got thousands of Bahamians who are waiting for that.
They're waiting for the fridge?
They're waiting for that. And they are going to milk that. Despite despite their protests otherwise, mind you.
Yeah.
Despite their cynicism,
Right.
they are going to milk that. Now, you think that they're going to make any substantive change in the way things are so that this system at least comes under some kind of attack? I doubt it.
Well, I mean,
in my estimation, I doubt it. I hope to.
Do you not think, Jeff Lloyd, have we? Well, you see, what you say is a little scary, and I'll tell you why. Because what it means is that we have to really get to bottom. Right? We have to get to bottom before people will move.
Isn't that what happened in Luke 14 with the prodigal son? When did he?
Well, you're asking me a quote now, and I can't.
I know. I'm telling you. When did he catch himself?
Bottom.
When he get his senses?
Rock bottom.
Man, all what he pa tell him, man, I ain't think this a good idea, I mean, everything cool, brethren. You could look at da-da-da-da-da. Man, daddy, the guy is man. I want, bang, no problem. Okay, fine. And mind you, everything was going fine for a while, and cool.
Right.
And as things were falling apart, he still thought he could catch himself.
Right.
And then eventually it fell apart.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Yeah.
But won't it be too late?
No.
No, but that's the way
redemption.
it is. That's the way it is.
Somebody will pick up the pieces, and we will recreate the new Bahamas.
When you look at all of the systems of politic, and go back, say, to the feudal system, okay? The bottom line is what happened was the king, okay, would say to Jeff Lloyd, the serf, okay, look, you're growing some wheat. Give me 10%. Give me 10% of your wheat. When you finish planting, I'll be happy. So just say no problem, because the king is going to protect him. Then the king goes back to Jeff and say, listen, man, we want to take over Mayaguana, eh? We want to go fight Mayaguana. We never liked the people of Mayaguana. Let's go take them over. I can need 34% of your wheat. No problem, because I don't like Mayaguana people either. Let's go get Mayaguana. Then the king finally comes back and say, listen, I can need 80% of your wheat because I got to build a castle for my sweetheart. Okay? And before you know it, you know what the serf does? I'm taking over the king now. I'm taking over the castle. This is enough is enough. And that's what happens. You just get to the point where you don't take it anymore. What Jeff is saying, I think, is that we haven't gotten to that point of destitution. No. Even though you would think with 19% unemployment, some living conditions that are horrendous, that obviously is not rock bottom for us.
Listen, man, we are, right this minute, we owe $8 billion. That's how much the country makes all together in an annual basis. So we broke. This government chose to introduce VAT, no problem. There were those who thought it was not wise. All right? When the government came to power in 2012, the deficit was $557 million annually. They said VAT was necessary in order to pay down the debt.
In 2012.
It is now $657 million they have collected in 11 months of VAT, but yet the deficit, the operating deficit, is $300 million.
Well, isn't there argue that the deficit has declined as opposed to being 500? You said the deficit was 500
The
million.
operating deficit was $557 million without VAT.
Okay.
The operating deficit is now $300 million with a $657 million.
Which means
VAT.
they've not curtailed spending.
Nothing.
So
So you should have been able to wipe out with that particular amount of receipts your operating deficit. You should have had an operating balance budget.
So given that, where's the level of accountability?
Accountability only
Or where-
exists
or
when
where is
it
the
is
outcry?
demanded. Yeah, that's the thing. It doesn't exist in a vacuum.
The Prime Minister, my dear brother and friend, whom I love and admire and respect, he looks good for his age, 73. The Prime Minister said that it was the bank that requested the documents be sealed. The receiver, who is an officer of the court, through his attorney, said it was the government and the bank. Okay, now, I want to believe my Prime Minister in every word that he utters. I think he wants the best for the Bahamas. But I starting to have some doubts about this kind of flip-flop back and forth, not Satan.
Could it have been the bank with the consent of the government?
Well, it doesn't matter.
Well,
Just tell us what it is.
Well, see, that's the problem.
It doesn't matter. I don't care
I
what
agree
it
with you,
is.
but
See,
see,
I don't
what I'm
care.
saying
Listen,
is
this issue
messaging.
of seals, listen, this issue of being sealed or not being sealed, it's a common thing in the courts.
right.
I mean, listen, I've asked for it to be sealed in times past when I was creditors committee chairman at CLECO and all that kind of stuff. There's a time when that happens. When you're dealing with divorce matters, you got to ask for it to be sealed.
When
When,
there's a
you're dealing
settlement.
with adoption matters, you got to ask for it to be sealed. Permanently sealed, not a problem. And there's nothing wrong with asking for it to be sealed. There is sensitivity going on, complexities and so
Exactly.
on. Man, just tell the truth, man.
Just
Just
say
tell
it.
the truth.
But
Just say to
can
the
I
people
add-
that
but-
came on, I trying to get your money for you.
Right.
I can't now tell you everything because if I do, some people can cause this deal to go down the tube.
Right.
I can't. So listen, trust me on this one.
Yeah.
You can get some money.
Does that suffice?
If you
No,
tell
I'm
them
just
the
asking.
truth.
No, I'm saying if you say that, does that suffice?
Well, listen. It
That's
will
all
be
you could say.
suffice if there's nothing coming on the other side that contradicts that.
Right.
And if you say that from the beginning,
Well, yeah. But, you're hooked onto this beginning thing again. You're
Yes.
in the
I mean,
beginning.
Listen, I always believe, like Monsignor Moore says,
You got to have right.
establish the understanding at the beginning. So that all subsequent understandings are easily.
Understood, yeah. But let me ask you, and I just to harp on that, is it I got to be the devil's advocate here, though, is in this climate of political one-upsmanship, does it matter from the beginning for some parties? And I don't mean that that's a pun, of course. For some people, that it's from the beginning. Does it not just constantly their need, their base is requiring that you constantly pull and tug?
I believe if the Progressive Liberal Party is smart, and I'm sure they are, at least to some degree, they would be concerned about their base.
Yeah.
The data doesn't show that their base is in sync with them.
Yeah.
Their approval rating is in single digits, on the lower end.
Right.
I mean, here's a party who is almost like an institution, man.
Right.
And you're suffering that kind of approval rating. You're in bad shape. Let me tell you something, Ed. The people between 18, I'm talking about voters, between 18 and say 40, they didn't check out, man. They ain't checking for no politics, man.
Well, that's
The
what I
PLB
want to
is-
ask you.
For
You have
them,
a
the
pulse.
PLB is almost contemptible.
You have
All
a
right.
pulse. What's the general feeling generally in terms of what's happening
The
with
attitude towards politics and politicians today is the same that Americans are having. the approval rating of members of Congress is somewhere around 7 to 9%. That is basically the attitude that Bahamians are having towards politicians, because one time we believed that politics was a way for us to improve our lives and to live the quality of life that Bahamians thought that they deserve. That's no longer now continuing to be their mantra. All right? And in particular, after 2012, with all of their promises, 10,000 jobs. Look here. You ain't got to worry. Unemployment is through the roof, mind you. You promised 10,000 jobs immediately. Some people would think you got them jobs lying up right in your pocket. Then you come, folks losing their homes or threaten losing homes. You talk about a mortgage relief plan. And I said on the radio at the time, be careful about that promise.
But why
because
do you make those promises?
You are left with the belief that arrears that you have and your mortgage is going to be paid off. And the PLP. And I warned them. I warned Mr. Christie, who came on my show.
But why do people do that? Why would you not say? Why would you? Yeah, but why would you not say? As a politician, and because one of the mysteries to me,
won't win.
Yeah, but no, but why would you not say? Yeah, but no, but why would you not? But Jeff, why would you not say we're going to improve the scenario with jobs? We're going to increase jobs. We're going to increase, jobs to the.
That's too conceptual. I need specifics.
So you lock yourself down with a number?
Yeah.
So if you get to 9,200,
even though you know that you have no intentions or no ability to satisfy that
promise. Are the people
promise.
that silly, though, that they don't know you know?
They are gullible. And gullible means that you will reach out for anything, even though it makes absolutely
you're
no
drowning,
sense.
You just reach out for the life vest.
Even though you know it makes absolutely no sense.
Yeah.
Now, here's where I fault people. You have fallen for this before. Now, don't tell me. See, listen. You fooled me once.
Yeah. What you
All right?
call it? Yeah. Don't mix it up like George Bush.
Shame on you.
Don't mix it up like George Bush.
Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice,
Shame on me.
If you got sense, you even ain't gonna have no twice. If you got sense.
Yeah.
You fooled me once. There ain't gonna be no twice.
Yeah.
If you got sense.
Yeah. Well, then shame on me. That's what they say. But I'm hoping that. What do you see? We're going to take a big leap here. We got 3 more minutes. If you had to put your finger, well, first of all, let me ask you. So, you ain't running, right? Just might as well get. You running? You running? No, but you could just me and you.
I running. You and I went through this exercise. This is my salary.
Yeah.
Give me my 5-year salary now.
Yeah.
Put it in the bank.
Yeah.
I running.
You can't help no one if you're dead.
Well, or broke.
Well, dead is broke. Okay. If
I go home to my wife and tell her I running, and she don't see that money in the bank,
she must mean you running from here.
Come on.
No. There's sacrifice.
This is what I mean when I say Bahamians got to put a skin in the game.
There's foolhardiness.
Yeah.
So what do you see, Jeff Floyd? By the way, let me just straighten out the rules. The election has to take place by May, or does it have to be called by May?
Election has to come, the Constitution says, from the 5 years from the date of the first sitting of the House of Assembly after the general election. And that was near the end of May 2012. So the elections must have concluded. The polling must be done by the end, let's say for the record, by the end of May 2017. Okay. Now, for the most part, they ain't going all the way to that. My boy is going to make sure that folks start working down the bar. Get about 1,000
things are moving,
and so on. Folks got money in the
52
pocket.
weeks and all that kind of stuff.
The Free National Movement don't bring no Jeff Lloyd and some real like Ed Fields and Erica Wells on. And, people say, oh, yeah, they serious? Yeah, that's...
No, but see, now you just open up the door again. You realize that. You say you ain't running.
That's the calculation.
You say they can put the money in, but then you say...
might be somebody listening to
There might be somebody
who ready to put the...
I got the 5 years. I got the 5 years. You got the 5 years, man. You got me. Oh, yeah. Well,
I'll say this, too. If I get the 5 years, you got me, too.
Yeah, you got the 5 years, man. In the bank. Ain't no promises, no promissory notes, none of that.
Yeah, no IOU? No IOU?
No, sir.
No. So what do you see as the outcome? If you had to say,
At the moment, it's too difficult to say. At this moment, too difficult to say. Obviously, the election should have been the FNMs to lose. It should have been, right? But it's too difficult to say. I mean, it's going to be difficult for the BLP to recapture any level of trust and admiration in the Bahamian people. It's going to be difficult.
Okay.
However, if you got a fractured opposition out there, and if you continue to have a host of people like my family, I mean, children and others
Who
in
don't
that
care?
age group who ain't checking,
Yeah.
who even ain't going to register, and PLB
yeah.
walk right back in.
By the way, just quick, Trump, which was I gotta ask you this.
Ain't no chance for Trump, man.
You serious, man? Because I don't want there to be no
Ain't no
chance.
chance for no
That
Trump,
makes
man.
it feel much.
Because I can't even watch it. It's like watching.
ain't nobody-
It's like watching Adolf.
It was just a disaster. Listen, anybody, again, you see, you talk about, he just went down to Mexico.
Yeah, but that
Disastrous.
it was disastrous. People say he looked presidential.
Yeah, he did.
But the bar is set so low for Donald Trump.
Yeah,
If
there's
he
no-
even
Why?
could- if he
Why
could
in the
sit
world
still-
would the president of Mexico accept or invite him to come down?
Because he is a choice of the American people as a presidential candidate for at least one body. He's got
This
to
the
be,
man who just tell your country
Yeah, but
you're rapists and criminals.
he's got to be smart. That's your neighbor. This man is likely to become the president of the United States.
No,
And
no,
you
don't
got-
say likely. Hold on.
Well, the man is likely because there are two people in the race. One
You mean
to
he has
lose.
a possibility? Don't say likely.
Yeah,
I
one
don't like
to
that.
lose.
You're making me feel
Yeah,
bad.
because he is close in the polls.
Yeah, boy.
You would think that the kind of bombast and ridiculous and racist and everything else that the man is going on with, you would think that the American people would be so dismissive of this guy that he would not even have a chance in hell. Like somebody suggested he should wrap up his campaign and just, bequeath
Yeah,
it to.
yeah.
But this guy's still hanging around in
yeah,
the polls.
yeah. But you don't think it can happen?
Oh no, no
Okay.
chance.
I
Man.
go
I mean,
with you.
eventually the gods will not. One thing I could say about God, you might not be able to say because you was only checking with everyone. He ain't never on the phone, so he ain't distracted.
Okay.
Yeah, he's always available.
Well, my
Yeah.
number is X. I'm not going to say it. If you call, if you got the check for Jeff,
Yeah.
call me.
Call
Now,
me.
if Jeff, I can tell you. If they call me, I got to ask for my advice.
Yeah, I don't blame him. I don't blame him. 'Cause
Jeff
you gotta
Lloyd.
go home to Michelle, and I got to go home to Michelle.
Yeah, Jeff Lloyd, it's always a pleasure. I look
Anytime,
forward to
man.
having you again sometime.
Sure.
It's going to be a nice. We're going to have some fun during this next couple of months with the election.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
All right, my
It's
friend.
gonna be fun.
Erica,
Thanks, Erica.
always a pleasure.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.